think for me, one of the questions I get asked a lot is what is good? What, like kind of a singular question, and expecting a singular answer. What's exciting for me is seeing the different ways in which people are consuming video on mobile. You look at the sense of kind of on the go, and yeah, that's probably slightly more snackable content as people are moving out, moving around. They're going to work, or they've got that moment at a bus stop, wherever it might be. We're creating kind of new media moments, the way in which we can connect with people. We go a bit further on though, actually, and you kind of have a lean forward moment where it's something they're really interested in, and that will take video to a place in which it is more immersive. So be that is 360, I'm exploring around an environment, be that is like something like our Canvas unit where you're clicking and scrolling into it and going deeper into that story. That's what people, for something they're really interested in, they're going to go there. And then you look at kind of the sit back moments where this is something that they're really interested in. Maybe it is like an appointment to view thing. They're going to watch it on mobile for as long as that story is good. So I think there's a really interesting range, the way in which we need to be exploring mobile first video.
So tell us about live, some interesting things that brands are doing. I mean, live is huge, as we know, and has a lot of impact in different ways. But tell us sort of some best use things that you've seen, or what you recommend for brands utilizing Facebook Live.
So for me, Live is probably one of the most exciting products out there. I think when you look at kind of the award shows as an indicator of people being creatively interested in it. I think last year probably 360 and VR was a really interesting space we saw celebrated. I think you'll probably see similar things happening through Live this year. For me, this is about a really authentic space. How do you create authentic, great moments with people and bringing them along? The difference of it just being a video that's playing out is you can see people there with you. You see that view count. You know there's kind of a social moment. There's thousands or hundreds of thousands of people with you watching that film right then and there. And that creates a very special connection with it. The ability to connect and ask questions of and interrogate the people making the films makes it into another thing. So I suppose you look at some of the great work that happened around the Mr. Robot Season 2 launch, and that was great. You're able to take Live, cut in that aesthetic, and use the script writers from Mr. Robot around the world to write really authentic, genuine moments that could bring that kind of almost dystopian future straight into people's feeds. They loved it. They could engage with it. They thought it was fun and vibrant way of doing it. Or you look at something like Tommy Hilfiger did with their catwalk show for their fall show back in New York. They were able to bring people into the front row. We've been doing that for a couple of years. But then they were able to take that live feed and target it out to different people to actually hit against their interests and make that actually a shoppable video. So they can take this both from a really top of funnel, brand building, interesting experience to something that's far more connected down into actually delivering against those brand goals and delivering against business goals for them. So we're seeing a whole range of work coming through, and really entertaining work, like how sports brands are bringing themselves onto Live and using that as their key moment to project themselves out there. It's a point and way in which I see it. It's a really fabulous connection with the audience. And the thing I always look for from all great video and all great work that comes through my platform is really about a value exchange. What is it in that reciprocity that I'm getting back from the brand, and the brand is getting back from me? And that's where that power comes from.
And finally, Rob, Facebook is very much a leader and a teacher to the creative community, and you have these councils where you're cultivating and sharing. Tell us sort of where things stand in terms of the creative community embracing social video as a medium. I mean, after all, it's kind of new to a lot of them, particularly who've been doing 30-second spots. And where does that stand in terms of the industry, your efforts, and how you see that developing?
So for me, I think we're seeing some shifts forward. I think we're seeing differences around the world and within different agency groups. But there's a real move to making a great mobile-first video. I think we're probably seeing a few different areas that are changing around that. So, and a really jump forward in collaboration, genuinely that openness to make sure you have different parties coming and working through and delivering against it. A piece around being open and making sure we have the right creatives and the right people in the room. A really genuine and diverse creative team is going to deliver against far bigger and better work and something that's more sort of fit for feed. When I also look at that, I see the opportunity around just being more prolific in the way in which they're making the work. This isn't about making a singular piece of creative and putting it out there. This is about testing and building production models so that as the work is going live, they can adapt and learn. And we're seeing more structures put in place around that. And overall, just having that curiosity. I think the industry has a curiosity to actually come and test and interrogate the platform and the medium and build really fabulous work which fits for like that value exchange for people and for the businesses that we're working with. And I think the other side of that is also going to be the traditional creative industry as the advertising industry as we know it. And then production partners, looking at people like Vox and Vice and Funny or Die, The Onion, Disney, they're building out really interesting content plays that are really looking to build for where people are. And so I think we'll see that expansion of the industry and that opportunity to build ever more interesting experiences